Well, Star Wars is a really important part of my childhood. I don't know, Star Wars movies we would watch the original Star Wars movie like pretty consistently, like the trilogy over and over and over again with my friends, by myself. It wouldn't matter.
So my position on Star Wars is that I have not seen them as a kid, and I have no personal connection with any of them, so I find them pretty overrated as films.
I remember watching it in Russia.
The first time.
Yeah, I think it was with you. And it was, yeah, and then George had this thing, you know, he had this like Cartina thing or Apple, and like you could watch movies, and it was always there, and then I was always watching it.
Well, as long as I remember myself, I knew about Star Wars. I had their movies on VHS, all first 4 episodes, which was Phantom Menace, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Ewoks. Oh, sorry, Jedi.
You watched the Return of the Ewoks?
No, Return of the Jedi. It was a joke.
I love Darth Maul.
Okay.
He's just such a cool character. He looks cool, and his lightsaber is the best. I love that they always change a bit the lightsabers.
Well, when they were coming out, I remember liking Phantom Menace because it had like a lot of like cool lightsaber fights mostly. I didn't realize at the time that they were prequels to Star Wars. I was always confused why movies which are not connected have the same name. When Attack of the Clones came out, I remember it being really boring. Like even in the theater. It was really hot, it was really annoying.
Listen, I was one of the 3 people in the world who saw the prequels but never saw the originals up until relatively late in my life.
Revenge of the Sith I did like, and I probably still do like it the most right now. But I still don't really like it. I always found it confusing how Anakin was a 10-year-old boy in Phantom Menace, and Padme was like 18. And then in the next one he's like 30 and she's maybe 25. And they're like dating. That's so confusing.
Never really, well, without the, unbeknownst of the difference in quality or the perceived quality between the prequels and the originals, I started with the prequels. Didn't really know that they were supposed to be this train wreck. And I can't tell you how I felt about them, but by the time I got to episode 4, I literally finished with watching. And I never got back to it up until 2015, which is when The Force Awakens came out.
I don't like the second one. The second one after the first prequel. The second one. I didn't like it because it was just not interesting in my opinion. Just how he was Boba Fett and everything. It was just I didn't really like it. The third one is probably one of my favorite ones. The Anakin battle against Obi-Wan is probably the best battle yet, and maybe there will be a better one in the 8th one, but right now it's my favorite.
And I had I had so many questions that I didn't understand when I was a kid, when I was watching the first episode. And I always thought for some reason that Padme, I never understood why in the end she would go out when she was in Naboo. You remember the scene when she was in Naboo and what was this frog guy? Like that was living in underworld.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Like would do all the way.
Yeah, that guy.
Well, when she had a double. She had a double to pretend she's the queen. But I never understood that. Because when she came out, she said, "I'm the real queen." I thought that, what? I never understood that part.
I am Queen Amidala.
I watched Revenge of the Sith last. It was kind of boring.
And that's it?
Yeah. Like, there's nothing to the movie. It doesn't make me angry or anything, but like, it's just there. Nothing really happens. It's a lot of like CGI, unrealistic computer graphics. The dialogues are kind of stupid. The logic of the characters doesn't make sense. The fact that like Darth Vader is a really cool character is Anakin, and Anakin is a very whiny character who betrays the whole galaxy just so he can save his wife, but then betrays his wife because his mentor and best friend showed up to help him. And then his mentor and best friend says,
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
which is an absolute line all on of its own. So, you know, it's nonsense.
Besides being completely boring and oh boy, it's there's a whole list of things.
Do you remember them well?
I don't remember them that well, but I know that they're completely unengaging. They've been talked to death, and I mean they are boring, but the reasons for that are to do with filmmaking, which is why there's still a debate because it's subjective. I know that there are people that enjoy the prequels, but I pretty much think that their opinion is worth 50% of that of a normal person. Episode 4 is such a classic hero story. It's like an amalgamation of every adventure movie ever created, or every adventure story ever written, even before film existed. It's so ingrained in our brains subconsciously that I don't even know how to talk about the film. Apart from Empire, I don't see any value in them, in watching them today.
Well, they're much better than the prequels.
The originals, I think the fifth one is my favorite. Well, the second one, if you count it. When Darth Vader. I think Darth Vader is probably the coolest character. And when he came in Rogue One, that was really cool.
I love the episode 5. I think it's a really, really, really good movie. As a movie. I'm not talking about as a Star Wars movie. I'm talking about as a movie as a whole is good.
I think they're really great movies. I love the characters and the banter between the characters. And those things which I do enjoy quite a bit in those movies. Return of the Jedi is the weakest of those movies in my opinion. I don't like the Ewoks.
Palpatine, is a great character in my opinion, but he felt a bit... He's like a strong character, but at that moment he was so weak.
Which moment?
The last one he got thrown off.
Episode 6 was fine, but it was really strange with the tone. The tone would always shift between really campy and goofy and then really serious scenes. Like, it has one of the best scenes from all the Star Wars movies.
I had a mixed expectation. Like, it's like a person that's going into a candy shop but not really knowing what he wants. I mean, I'm gonna say the movie's not horrible, but it's not good. It's not a movie that you're waiting for a while and hoping for more.
I didn't expect anything. I consciously made the effort not to try and form expectations, and I think that was a very good strategy, if you will, because I ended up enjoying it a lot. And at the time, it's the only Star Wars movie that I feel I have any sort of personal connection with, just because I was around, for the release of it, and I saw it in theaters, and I saw it with old classmates, and it was just a great time.
I wanted it to be really bad. Well, no, like, not true. Like, I wanted it to be good, but I wasn't expecting it to be good. I don't like the director, Jar Jar Abrams. He's not the director I enjoy. I also didn't like the direction they took, especially with like a new Death Star. Oh, sorry, Starkiller base. It also made very little sense, and when it came down to it, I did not enjoy the movie. I thought it was bad.
Kylo Ren. He is trained by Luke Skywalker. And then also, he has the Force. He's raging. He's mad. And this girl that is from a planet that has, I have no idea what, like a fake Tatooine that just comes out of nowhere, takes a lightsaber, Anakin's lightsaber, and just kills him! Not kills him, but like beats him. Like, just...
I watched that movie probably 4 times or 5. And the last time I saw it, I liked it. I would give it a 7 out of 10. Even though it is a replica of Episode 4.
As for the quality of the film, it is so similar to Star Wars 4, but I think that it is actually an improvement on almost every level.
I didn't like Kylo Ren. I thought Kylo Ren was like a joke. I know. This is my biggest complaint with this movie. Even more than the fact that it repeats New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. It's literally, he is a joke. He is made to be a joke. The very first scene, he is shown to be like, not the very first scene, but like in the opening like scene, he is shown to be like amazingly powerful when he like stops a gun blast with his force. But then throughout the movie, he is just a joke. And they play it in the movie like for joke. When he goes like on a tantrum and starts breaking like the torture chamber, and like 2 stormtroopers show up from like a corner and they hear him. And it's like a Looney Tunes cartoon when they're like, oh shit, he's angry, and they start to like back off slowly. And like, how am I supposed to take him seriously when like his stormtroopers don't take him seriously?
There's some lazy writing in this movie. They had a question about when the guy getting the lightsaber of the Luke, which he lost during the 5th episode, and they asked Maz Kanata where she got it. A good question for another time. And you'd be like, why? Why would you say that? It's like they said it, they just wrote it just to get it there, and they say, okay, we'll figure out it later.
I will see it.
Why?
Because I wanna see Luke. I wanna see how it all ends. But I like the director more than the previous one. But again, like, this trilogy is built on a shaky foundation, I think. Ever since like Disney bought the Star Wars. So I don't know how good it will actually be. It might be quite good, but like, if they keep on going, if they keep on not revealing information to the audience, important information to the audience, like Rey's parents or like Snoke's, then it just becomes like annoying. Like, why am I watching this if you're not telling me anything? I don't know anything about those characters. I don't know why I should care.
What if they can tell maybe in the night?
But like, no, I will watch the 9th because I will have to finish it. But why should the audience care about those characters?
Well, I didn't watch any trailers. I was never hyped for it. I didn't even watch the trailers. I didn't care if I would see it next day.
A lot of Snoke. I hope there's going to be a lot of him. Kylo, I want to see him like, you know, his training moments where he's gonna train to beat her, or Luke, I don't know who's he's gonna verse, but like his training, I want to see. I mean, the new Death Star. I mean, if it's broke, then well, they have to make it again. So I mean, I wonder how that's gonna look.
Listen, lots of nudity, lots of gang banging, lots of alien orgies, and lots of exposition, lots of names that I can't pronounce, lots of ideas stolen from other sci-fi films. I think he's senile, and I think he's one of the. He baffles me, honestly. I mean, we just rewatched the original trilogy, or the tweaked versions, and holy fuck. I mean, we've talked about the moment in Return of the Jedi where. Listen, it's such a tiny detail, but there's in a scene where I guess
It was in a desert.
In the desert, in the first act of the film, when Jabba is about to execute Han and Luke, I believe.
They were trying to execute the whole gang.
And we see a wide shot of the vehicle that they're on, and in front of that vehicle passes another kind of space car, I don't know. Not only does it not make sense because they're in the desert, in the middle of nowhere, and there's a random car passing by in front of the screen. Think about the mindset that George Lucas must have had to go back and tweak his films and presumably spend money on animation, right? To add that detail. What does it add? And how are you telling me that this is not an insane person?
Well, let me
He
get
is
back
fucking
to it.
demented, and he belongs in a nursing home.
I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for him. The guy got so much shit. And yeah, I feel sorry for what happened to him. I mean, I really admire and really have huge respect for George Lucas. I really do. Like, I think the guy created something that everyone loves, but yet everyone hates him for it too.
In episode 4, there's the scene where Luke and Obi-Wan, or Obi-Wan at that point. Anyway, there is a scene, or actually a split second, where a giant, what is it, lizard fuck?
Some huge
Some
giraffe or like a
fucking dinosaur or something, blocks the entire screen. The entire screen. If you were to pause the movie at that moment, you would see nothing but fucking lizard skin. You're telling me that George Lucas is sane? What the fuck has to go through your mind to actually go back and spend money on animation to tweak the movie in this way? Probably the same type of thoughts that he had on set of the prequels, which is why that turned out great.
What do you think about him in general?
Well, I'm gonna say straight, I have not that much knowledge about him. I mean, I'm kind of like, I understand why there's always hate in people for him. Maybe there's always a part that people don't like the movies. And I mean, his director tries. I have nothing really to say about that. I really have no idea about anything about that exact.